up? What's up, cohort 4? I'm sure you thought we forgot about you. Never that. We just saved the best for last. Shh, don't tell anybody. So check us out. The way this works, you're going to look for your name on the next slide, and then you watch the presentation and take your quiz at the end, okay? Follow Wile E. Coyote's lead. All right, so this is everybody. Whether you are a Kingwood student or a downtown student, your name should be on this list. But if you do not see your name, let Ms. Tidwell or myself know ASAP so that we can get that resolved. Moving right along. All right, cohort 4, if you thought you heard it enough, we're gonna say it again. You need to read your emails. Please be mindful of the emails that you receive, not only from your advisor, but also from Ms. Burgan and also from the Urban Education Department. If you saw earlier, we got people that will be communicating with you all real soon, okay? So if you could just read your emails, that would be great. We said what we said. Okay, cohort 4. Right now, you all are in semester 5. And whether you're in the ESL program for EC6 or 4 through 8, or the bilingual or the special ed program, this is about what your schedule looks like, give or take a few classes, okay? And what you'll see at the bottom of the screen, it literally says it's time to apply to the TEP later this semester, but the date is to be announced, okay? But we'll talk about that in a second. I want you to see what your schedule should currently look like, give or take. And now we're going to look at what your schedule will look like next semester. Okay, for semester 6, that is going to be what's your PD1. So when we go into fall 2021, this is what your schedule should look like. Again, find your column and look at your courses. Some students may have a slight variation, and that's okay. But if you feel like it's very different, you need to contact Ms. Tidwell or myself. Okay, so again, this is all getting you ready for the TEP. And I'm sure you're asking yourself, what in the world is a TEP? We got you.
Ms. Trim, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna start PD1 in the fall. Well, I don't know if I can take 5 classes. Will these courses be offered in the summer? And maybe I can take 4 in the fall and maybe 1 in the summer?
Great question, student. So the answer is yes, you will have an option to take a class in the summer, but it's not just any old class. You see that bottom row, no matter what your supplement is, NS 3312, that is a course that you are able to take in the summer. But please be advised, the way it works for students who are on financial aid, you have to take at least 2 courses in order to be eligible for aid over the summer. So unless you got the big bank Hank and you can pay for this course out of pocket, and that's where talking to your advisor comes into play. We might be able to schedule your classes, or depending on where you are, you might be in a position where you do need to take 2 classes over the summer. For a lot of students, that's typically NS 3310 and NS 3312, give or take. Okay, so again, to answer your question, brilliant student. Ideally, it is 5 courses, but if we need to push one into the summer, it has to be at UHD. You cannot take an NS course at a community college, and it has to be an NS 3310 or 3312 course.
So I heard you say we can take an NS 3310 or NS 3312 course in the summer. I heard my friends who are in different PDs than me, they're in PDs 2 and 3, said that they weren't going to allow the PD1 courses in the summer. Is that true?
Good question again. So that is correct. So if you look at all the other courses outside of NS, those classes are not going to be offered for students outside of the PDs unless there's a unique situation. And we've been in several meetings with the UE personnel, those important staff that you saw earlier in the presentation. And it is determined on a case-by-case basis whether or not you'll be allowed to take a course out of PD1 during the summer. But the answer is no. The answer is absolutely no. We are so sorry, unless there's a truly extenuating circumstance, in which case it involves 3 other people way over Ms. Tan and myself. Any other questions, brilliant student?
No, that answers the question. So if I want to take a summer course, it has to be an NS 3310 or 3312. And if I want to remain in pathways, I heard you say I have to take 5 classes, possibly on a case-by-case basis. I could take 4, but as of now, PD1 is required with 5, and there will not be offered in the summer.
That is correct. That is correct. Outside of the NS course, yes, those are your 4 classes that you must take as a PD, as a cohort, so to speak. Again, we cannot break that up. And the reason so is, as you'll see in later semesters, when you start taking PD2 and PD3 and PD4, there are no options. You are literally stuck in what is already assigned for you. And up until this point, Pathways has kind of had a hand in structuring how you take your courses. But now that you hit the PD level, that's out of our control. So just keep that in mind.
I have one more question.
Come on, brilliant student.
That you can't work in PD4. Is that true?
So it is recommended that students do not take on a job during that time. Why? Because unless you're working overnight, you have to be fully committed and devoted to being the teacher of record in the classroom, because PD4 is your student teaching semester. So on top of being the person who's in the classroom, creating lesson plans and coming before class, getting the kids off the bus and staying after class to have parent teacher conferences, and being the one who's making sure that the students are learning from typically 7 to 3, give or take, you also have 3 classes that you're doing on top of that. So if you feel like you can manage a job with all of those responsibilities, well, God bless you. But typically, it's discouraged that students work during that final semester, largely because it's kind of impossible. What else, brilliant
All
student?
my questions.
Okay, hey, come back anytime. I'm here for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Moving right along. Okay, so I know you're asking yourselves, what is the teacher education program? Okay, so the teacher education program, right? Let's just read it. How about that? Participation in the professional development sequence, or PD, right? That's where you hear that magic word, requires admission to the teacher education program, or TEP, in the Department of Urban Education. The PD sequence requires concurrent enrollment in a set of 4 courses. Remember that? And in order to be successfully complete in each PD semester, students must demonstrate mastery of the content. Let me pause right here. What does that mean? You have to make a C or better. And luckily, students who are pre-PD, you've heard this all along, because Ms. Tan and I have been preaching to you, hey, that math class, you got to get a C or better. That English class, you got to have a C or better. Your science courses, C or better. History, C or better. Guess what? It was all in preparation for the PD semesters, okay? Because now you've got to make B's or better, because you're only allowed 2 C's, right? That's not right now. That's starting next semester, you all, okay? So you have to demonstrate a mastery of the content by making B's or better, and you're only afforded 2 C's throughout the entire PD sequence. Don't let that weigh on your brain too heavily, because we will talk about it more as we go. But let's finish the slide. The PD sequence also includes 2 semesters of field work, requiring a minimum of 60 hours of classroom experience and only 1 semester of full-day student teaching. Again, just kind of let that graze over your mind. We'll talk about it more, but that full day of student teaching, that full semester rather, that's PD4, okay? So PD1, you're taking regular courses. PD2, you have 60 hours of field experience. PD3, 60 hours of field experience. And then PD4 is student teaching, a full day, okay? That's the TEP in a nutshell. Now, you've heard us talk about it again. Let's just reiterate it. In order to apply, okay, these are the requirements for the teacher education program. So ask yourself, right, make a little mental checklist. Is my GPA a 2.5 or higher? You're like, oh yeah, I got a 3.8. You're good, right? Overall though, keep this in mind. That includes every single grade from UHD in any other transfer institution if applicable. If your whole career has only been devoted to UHD, great. But for those of you who are at Kingwood, well, you've already come in from a different institution, Lone Star. And then even students at UHD, you might have joined us by way of HCC or Lee College. There's so many schools. So we are looking at your transcripts and your grades from every single course. So just because maybe since you've been at UHD, you have a 4.0, but you transferred in a 1.0, that gets averaged out. And if you find yourself below a 2.5, you can't apply to the program. And if you are wondering, could this be me? Because I know I went to Sam Houston, I went to TSU, I went to Lone. You need to reach out to Ms. Tidwell. You need to reach out to myself, because we have to look at every single grade. And that is not a pathways thing. That is an urban education thing, okay? Also, your core classes, as we just discussed, you have to have a C or better. So if you are currently taking like a biology class and you know you're, I might make a D, pump the brakes, you can't apply. You've got to have a C. And then finally, your academic and preparatory classes must be complete. So those are your early childhood classes. Those are some of the ESL classes that you'll be taking. So again, and the math classes, that math 1350, 1351 for my transfer students. And then for students at UHD, that's your math 3321, 3322. So all of your courses, don't think that I can just slide and, whatever. They all make a difference in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the teacher education program. Questions? Contact your advisor. All right, y'all. We have so much information that's coming your way. You gotta watch your email, okay? Because literally, Ms. Tidwell and myself, we are gonna be emailing you soon. Why? Because if you remember on that previous slide, this is when you apply, okay? So get ready to meet with us virtually on Zoom, okay? Because we're gonna be sending emails, scheduling appointments. Why? Because a lot of information is coming your way. And we don't want to keep your mind weighted down with this orientation. Just know that that TEP application, it has a lot of moving pieces and several components. But we're going to help you get through it one bite at a time. Okay, Gators? If there's no questions, let's go to the last slide. That's it. We appreciate you all for joining us, but don't leave just yet. You have a quiz that you need to take. If you do not take the quiz, you do not get credit for this orientation. Thank you for circling that for us, Ms. Tidwell. Appreciate you. Take the quiz. And if you find yourself in need of anything, if you have any questions, y'all, this is such a pivotal time for you. Do not just think I'm not going to communicate with my advisor and then I make a D. You might not be eligible to continue with the rest of your education. Talk to us. On behalf of Ms. Burgan, on behalf of Ms. Sharika McGrew, on behalf of Ms. Tan Tidwell and yours truly, Ms. Trine Charvis, we thank y'all for your attention. And hey, tip your waiters and waitresses on your way out and, give us a little jam as we go. Ms. Tidwell, can we ride the train? Come on, ride the train.